Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. This week, we're interviewing FiGPiN, and we're finding out how they're getting back into the swing of things. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, this is Prague.
This is Josh.
And we have a special guest joining us this week.
My name is Amado. I'm co-founder, co-creator of FiGPiN, and now the president of FiGPiN.
Whoop, whoop.
El Presidente.
Nice. It's also nice to have Josh back, by the way.
Oh yeah,
For a special episode.
I know.
Thank you, Josh.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, but no Alex tonight, so he'll be filling in for Alex.
Yeah.
We only got 4 screens, so...
That's right. Sorry, Alex, we had to tell you to get out of here. He really wanted to be here too, which is sad, but we said no, can't.
Sorry, Alex. Sorry.
It's a 4-seater.
Well, welcome back, Amado. It was good to see you. So before we start, we actually ran into each other at Star Wars Celebration this year, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that convention, and I got the tour of your booth. And yeah, it was really exciting to see how you put it all together and how everything sold out really quick. So it was fun.
Yeah, we were nervous. We weren't really sure how it was going to go because that was really the first show of the year in May. I think it was. And sometime.
September.
It was end of May.
Just kidding.
Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, well, I know it was on my birthday, so the last day of the show was my birthday. But it was fantastic. I mean, it was a big show. The FiGPiNs we brought were really nice, and we sold out of everything. So. Yeah, and like you said, I was very proud of the booth. It's become like the thing that gets us all together, like the con team, because we have to wait for the crates and then open the crates and then build the booth and load it up, and it's an awesome ritual to go through at every con. I think we enjoy that part of it more than the con itself sometimes.
Yeah,
because it's just us kind of dealing with always with unexpected situations. So we have a great team for the cons.
Well, nice. Was that your first con back since the pandemic or not? I'm trying to think if anything happened before that.
Yeah, in 2021 we did the San Diego. I forget what they call it.
Oh, the special edition.
Limited special edition. And
I did not know you did that. Okay.
2 weeks later we did the one in Seattle.
Oh, the Emerald City in December, yeah.
Emerald City one, which was a strange show because I think people were kind of getting ready for Christmas and they weren't really into the kind of con thing at that point. But yeah, I wouldn't consider those full blown cons. I think 2022 is really the year we came back to cons. This is from
it felt more normal. I think. Yeah.
Okay. That's why it's good to have you on to talk about how it is for a company like we've talked about going to cons as guests or attendees, but how is it from an exhibitor standpoint? So it's good to have you on.
Yeah, the concept we're going to 2 types, right? We're doing the smaller configuration of like 10 by 10, and we did that at WonderCon, Anime Expo, and then Crunchyroll in San Jose, and then the bigger cons we're doing our bigger, like we call it 10 by 30 booth. So it's like a different way of being there, but every time we go, we remember how good cons are. They're just. I always tell people it's a place where everyone is happy. Like no one is angry at a con. I don't think I've ever seen. Well, maybe I might have seen like once or twice, but in general, like everyone is like really thrilled to be there, and they're all kind of sharing, in their fandom. So it's awesome energy to be around, and for us, I think it's the best way of getting our brand out there, because you're always going to see the people who are the perfect customers. When you put FiGPiNs in Target or in Walmart, maybe 2% of the people walking into the store are potential customers, whereas at a con, it's like 80%.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I just made that number up, but I'm sure it's really high.
it's pretty accurate.
Advanced analytics.
Yeah, I mean, the people that go to cons are collectors usually, so they
Yeah.
wear the
They're
stuff
collectors,
collectible. So they know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear my FiGPiN shirt, and people are like, "Oh, FiGPiN!" They know me. It's
Yeah.
not like
We
an obscure
when I pulled
brand.
up in at I think it was at D23. I parked like at the top of the parking deck when I got there the first day, like the first day of the show, and these people were getting out of the car and they saw I had a FiGPiN t-shirt on. They're like, "Hey, FiGPiN, we like collect FiGPiN. What are you guys bringing to the show?" It was really cool
Nice.
to experience that, and then also seeing the little bags when you're walking around like the con or the hotels and you see the little FiGPiN bags. So
Nice.
I tell people we are, and this is like it's a very bold statement, but I think we make the best collectible out there right now. And what I mean by that isn't in terms of like complexity or size of the business, but I think for the money that you spend and for the quality of product that you get and for the quality of the experience that you get, the $15 or $20 is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially when you look at the digital experience after buying.
Show people at home
physical
what
copy.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
For those who may be their first time, FiGPiN has been on here
Maybe.
before, but
Yeah,
for those who haven't,
just a couple
this is
of
what they
times.
look like.
Yeah, but for a brand like y'all just growing from, I guess, your first con in 2019 to now 2022, hitting at least almost 10 cons this year, around that.
I think this year it's 5 or 6. I don't know if you consider D23 a con or even Star Wars Celebration,
sure.
but let's call them cons,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people call them cons,
So those two, and then you have San Diego, Emerald City, and New York. So we did the 5 big ones, and then we did the 3 smaller ones. And next year we're planning on going to, I think, 16 right now, 16 cons. So it's almost 3 times, maybe not 3 times, but we're doing a lot more. We want to show up kind of in the Midwest somewhere. We want to be in the Southeast as well. So going to MegaCon, I think that one is like set.
Okay.
Because we do hear it a lot. Like, you guys don't do anything on the East Coast, which is true. We do like one event on the East Coast and everything else is on the West Coast. So I think 2023 is going to be pretty cool. We're actually going to do our first international show next year. I don't know if we're supposed to be talking about this, but I think we're going to be going to London for a show there in April. So that's
exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah, the guys are going to have to
what's out there is
get their passports.
Still
get mine renewed.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been to England. Been there twice. It's fantastic. So maybe we'll have to venture back there again. That's exciting.
So we're actually going to have situations next year where there's 2 concurrent events happening. So one of the things I'm working on is on how to, because right now we have an awesome team that can run a con. I have to figure out how we can have 2 awesome teams run a con.
Just clone them.
So
Just
that. Yeah, that's what I'm working on.
That's exciting. Now, how do you split then the inventory that way? Would you have like exclusives at the same time, like 2 different types of exclusives going at the same time?
Yep.
Wow.
That's exactly it. So let's say we're going to like a show in Florida and a show in Texas the same week. We'll have exclusives for both shows, like different exclusives, not the same ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And like for our planning, all that stuff has to be worked out now because of
the logistics,
time it takes to draw and manufacture and shit.
Yeah.
So somewhere in my head, there's like the exclusives of all the cons for next year up through like summer right now.
Wow.
Now, I guess since the last time we talked, do you still see shipping delays? I know the company I work with still sees some shipping delays with issues. I don't know if you guys are still having it.
Shipping irregularities, I think.
Okay.
Where, and I guess it is essentially delays, but when you just can't, you can't plan with confidence. You can't say, I'm getting this thing the third week of November. Like it might be the third week, it might be the second week, it might be the fourth week of December. You just don't know. The only methodology that is pretty solid, it's not perfect, but pretty solid, is when we ship stuff by air, which is insanely expensive. But when you have a con and a deadline,
yeah,
you just have to do that.
It seems that the ports are the big issue and have been the big issue for the last couple of years. So if you can air freight stuff, it's going to be easier. But as you said, significantly more expensive. But it seems like a lot of people are doing that, especially for NYCC this year.
And you're also getting a lot of shutdowns in China, like different
sectors,
cities or sectors will shut down for a few weeks because of reported cases of COVID. So, because they're still very aggressive in locking things down over there.
Right.
But I think we've factored all that in now. Like we now can work through that craziness, and that's why we have to determine what's being delivered like in like the summer of 2023 now.
Right.
There's that craziness, and then there's certain licenses. They just take forever to approve stuff. The art team will draw something in 3 days, and then we'll submit it, and it'll take like 2 weeks to get a response. And the response will be, the link doesn't open up. And then you gotta like wait. And then you gotta wait like another 2 weeks for the next, feedback round. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's very painful sometimes. Some licensors are like instant, but a lot of the anime licensors are on a much longer cycle. So it's been rough.
I would assume it's because they're so in demand right now, and they probably have a lot of requests coming in. That'd be my guess for anime. Not too sure.
I think that's part of it. Also, a lot of those licenses go through a very different approvals process than how it's done here. You have these things called committees that meet at certain times of the month, and so anytime something is going to go through approvals, it has to go through that one meeting. It's not like someone's inbox where they just get to it when they get to it. And so if you get it into the committee meeting and then they have an edit, you have to now wait a full cycle to submit it again and wait for their response on that.
It's like an HOA approval. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm not going to say which ones, but some of the stuff that we're releasing now, it took us, I think, like 8 to 10 months of development just to get it to the point where we can manufacture. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's torture.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Or not.
Not. But you still have to pay them. You still have to pay them for the license. Like it's not like, and then you have like a start stop on the license. So if you have like a 1 year license, you have to develop the product within that
time frame.
Yeah. So as soon as you sign that license, the clock starts. So you're like, please, we need to make this stuff.
Now you're not involved in licensing, are you? You have a whole team that takes care of that, or somebody else that does?
Yeah, I don't personally get
okay.
involved in licensing. We'll have discussions whether we should take a certain license or not.
Okay.
That's really my involvement there, but yeah, I'm not. I'm more involved on the what do we do now with all these licenses side of it.
Okay.
A few years ago when we had like 3 or 4 licenses, it was kind of easy to like juggle. But now when you have many licenses, and if you think about it, a license can have many properties under it, right?
Right.
Like
Disney, for
Marvel
example, right?
or Disney,
Right, Marvel,
or,
yeah.
or Crunchyroll. And then each property has dozens, if not hundreds, of characters in it. So now you're talking about a pool of thousands, tens of thousands of characters that we have to kind of navigate through, and we have to factor in, which characters, which story arcs, what time frames, what licensing constraints are there. There are times when we say, "Hey, we're going to make this character," and the licensor says, "No, you're not. That character can't. You're not allowed to make this character in this time frame because we're going to be releasing a movie."
Sure, that makes sense.
Later in the fall, so what they call it is they call it like starve the market. Like they don't want to have too much of that character in the market before the release. So when they release the film, there's bigger demand for it.
Yeah.
We have to factor in what the fans want, because at the end of the day, it's the fans that are buying this stuff. We have to factor in what the buyers or the resellers want. If a big box store is interested in one thing versus another, like we have to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So the funnel for planning, is really big. There's so many factors in there that go into us deciding what do we make and what do we release, and then when do we release it, especially when you look at all those timing delays.
Yes.
Manufacturing and shipping and approvals and all of that. So it's like drawing FiGPiNs and manufacturing them is insanely, I don't want to say easy, but it's like we're really good at that. All that other stuff it makes it 100 times harder.
The not fun stuff.
Yeah, it's when you start working with other companies, like your company, it's on lock of what you do, but it's all the interactions with everybody else.
Yeah. We always say that, like the easiest FiGPiNs we've ever made were the Statue of Liberty and Sasquatch.
Public domain.
Eric just drew those, and he's like, "All right, do I approve these? Yes, I approve these."
Yes, I do.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Who's the licensor? We are? Okay. Done. I like it. Good to go. That's fantastic. I would say the same thing probably for the FiGPiN logos and stuff too. Pretty easy.
I mean, it's not a lot of real estate to work in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a lot harder than people may think it is to make a logo that looks good. And it's like one of the original ones. I think that's one of the first 10.
That was San Diego.
San Diego,
Yeah, San Diego 2019. And if I'm being honest, like we had no idea when we first made these logos, we had no idea that they would turn into what they've turned into. And I think we're probably coming into like the 70s or 80s right now in the numbering.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because within the year alone, y'all released maybe over a dozen or so this year. It's like, and that's the creativity of y'all as being able to, like you said, use such a small real estate and do something different, which is it's y'all blow me away. As simple as like D23, you added glitter, and then I think like during what was it, Anime Expo, y'all put like the different type of like, I guess, flash light and
You guys want to hear a funny story? Like one of our biggest problems right now with the logos, this is like such a nerdy kind of operational problem, but like the logo we did for Star Wars Celebration, it was black with the yellow border, with like nice Starfield in the middle, right? But it's not Star Wars. So because you don't want we don't want to say this is a Star Wars logo pin, because
of course not.
That's really not part of our it's not part of our kind of agreement with them. But it's okay to make something that is inspired by that, because there's kind of colors and design language in there. So back in the day, what I came up with the team is like, we're just going to call these, like the description is going to be the name, right? So I'm looking at our old logos, like black on copper, right? Like that was our L3. Like this black on copper is really easy, right? So back in like D23 in 2019, we did white dots on the red background, which everyone knows what that pattern is, but we can't say that. So we called it white dots on red. White dots on red on black. And so that kind of worked for a while, but now we're like, you can't just keep using that same methodology, because like anytime we want to make red, like something that has red and black with like black plating, there's no other way of saying red and black with black plating. So we've been struggling to find like a new naming methodology that could take us kind of to the next level of these logo pins.
Like code names.
Yeah, like code names, especially for the ones that are where the theme might be inspired by like a license. If we do like a chocolate bar, the unwrapped chocolate bar, like, it doesn't matter. We just call that like chocolate. I think it's called like chocolate on black or something. So the logo pin names are they're all over the place. We need to kind of find a way to really tighten that up.
Starry Fights could be Star Wars. That'd be fun.
Not Star Wars logo.
Yeah, not Star Wars.
Well, it's called Starfield on black. That one.
Nice.
There you go.
See, I'd figure out what that is. It's a good code name. I like it.
And then the other one at Celebration was called Hyperspace on black. Because remember, we did two.
I think that's the code name I remember is that one, the Hyperspace.
Hyperspace. Yeah.
Okay. That was a good one. Nice. Now, one thing I did notice, and this is going to be a bit of a segue, at San Diego Comic-Con this year, it looked like you guys had 2 booths. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep.
And most people did. Like, it seemed like they had lost a lot of like kind of big names, so a lot of vendors happened to have a second booth. Which was a surprise to me. I didn't usually look at the map beforehand to see who's there this year and where they're laid out, and I didn't really get a chance to do that. So when I walked to the floor, I was surprised to see 2 booths, and I walked by the first booth, and the FiGPiNs weren't there, but it said FiGPiN. I was like, did I miss it? I walked around the thing, and I'm like, there was other merchandising there. There was like apparel and stuff. Was this something that you had just started to do, and it's only in cons? Or is this something that you're going to be doing on the website, or just a partnered thing?
Yes, to number 3. This was a very specific program where Lucasfilm invited us to be part of their Lucasfilm Pavilion.
That's where it was. Yeah, it was.
Or their Star Wars Pavilion.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and so they invited maybe 8 or 10 companies to have little 10 foot by 10 foot spots in their, like on the back of their pavilion.
Yeah.
And so we said yes, absolutely, and we brought our 2 bounty hunters there as exclusives.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Hyperspace logo. And then we also, because we wanted to introduce Star Wars fans to FiGPiN, we also brought a lot of our common stock there. I mean, like, why wouldn't you bring, Luke and Princess Leia and Stormtroopers and Darth Vader? So we brought some of that stock, and that's what we sold there. That booth actually did really well for us. It's a little 10 by 10 because it was right at the door, is in the Star Wars Pavilion. So that was that. I don't think we have any plans in the near future to have a second booth.
Okay.
But there is this idea that we're talking about of having kind of like a satellite booth that focuses only on the tech of FiGPiN. Because what's been happening at our booths right now, the transaction of just acquiring the FiGPiNs, buying the FiGPiNs at the cons takes up so much space and so much energy, and you're trying to get people through the line, and you have the inventory in the back. We find that it's very hard to have that conversation about the digital side of FiGPiN.
What would be really nice if you did at Comic-Con at least, I don't know about how other cons would be situated, but where your booth was this year at least, was right next to where all the games are. So if you had on the other side of that aisle like a little booth where all the games are, people are already looking at like figures of like games and stuff. You can have that little booth. Be like, hey, I just bought this. Show me how to unlock it and use it and battle it and everything. That'd be neat.
Yeah, absolutely. The app has. Did any of you guys make it out to the warehouse event? I'm sorry if I'm not. No.
Which one?
The second one.
The recent one?
Okay. Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
I went to the first one.
The sequel.
There is that game that we called it Go Fig, and it had that like big button that you mash. And so what you do is you walk up to it, you put in your serial number, and then it brings up your PIN, and it has this grid of like boxes like cycling around. And then you smash this button, and it lands on a box, and it could be like max boost, or it could give your PIN points, and you earn like the PIN earns a badge for being at that event, and then you as a collector also earn a collector badge for being at the event. So that's like one of the things that we could do at a like satellite tech booth is talk about the app, have games like that or interactives like that. We had this other thing at the warehouse event, which was like my favorite thing, but I don't think it had as much. I don't think people liked it as much as I did, but we set up we had like a step and repeat for selfies, but then we set up a little table where you could take selfies of your FiGPiNs. And our guy Charles, who does a lot of our photography, he set up all these little backdrops, and so it was like a little like photo studio for your FiGPiN. So you just sit down there and you like take pictures. I thought that was like a really fun way of
great interaction.
Yeah, I can see that working out probably better at like a con, because that's what people already do at a con. They love those little photo opportunities. So if they can be like, hey, I can take my FiGPiN out and do the same thing with them, I bet they would probably work out pretty well there.
And that's the dilemma of our booth, right? It's like our 10 by 30 booth, like there's barely any space to do what we, like to just sell the product.
Right.
So we'll see. I think 2023, I think 2022, we got back into cons. We got the team kind of dialed in and working together and enjoying working together. And we got really good at the transaction of FiGPiN, meaning you want to go to the con to buy the FiGPiN, we're there and we're going to make it pleasant and we're going to make it available. 2023, my focus on cons is education and engagement. Like, how can we get the people who aren't bought into FiGPiN to hear about us, to get into us, to get excited about FiGPiN, and then how do we educate existing customers or even new customers about the full experience of FiGPiN, which is primarily the digital side. As you guys know, everyone is now, like literally everyone is doing some digital thing.
Yes.
Whether it's like what we're doing or NFTs or like people have realized that, everyone walks around with their smartphone, and if you're into collecting, you should probably have some kind of experience here.
Yeah.
But apps are hard, and the majority of apps suck. So
Trevor knows that.
they are, right? Like, you guys all probably have phones filled with apps that you hate and you just haven't uninstalled yet.
Yeah,
exactly. What? I don't know what you're talking about. As I scroll through page after page after page,
And then the whole NFT thing. It's like I think there's like more people that have no idea what it is talking about it than there are people who know what it is talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing where they're like, like, oh, I like NFTs. Well, what is it? Well, I'm not quite sure, but I like them.
Right. Yeah, I definitely get that question a lot about my shirt, though. But it's like what's FiGPiN? It's like, it's a very alluring name, right? And I just tell them it's in the name. Fig and a pin. It's a figure pin. It's like really easy, and it's a great way to have that conversation, I think, with people. So, still a great name choice for a company, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was talking to Eric about that yesterday, actually, and how it's good and it's not. It's actually an excellent name in that it's so specific about what we're making. But if we ever wanted to do anything that's not a figure and a pin,
Sure.
it kind of like,
Yeah.
And
I guess you've
but that's
yourself
okay.
to get there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
But it's
that's
big
okay,
enough at
like,
the same time. I think it'd be okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's awesome what you want to do with the app. I think that's something that's very key and crucial to the success of y'all's company is introducing that. I know it's something that maybe a lot of collectors or people that collect them engage with to its full potential. And I know that's your kind of like your baby that you've created from the ground up. Now, talking about that, what are things that I know you've mentioned? You've talked about battles coming in the near future. Is there anything with that, or even other things you're introducing? I guess maybe in the future that you might want to share with us.
Yeah, I could talk about how battles will work. I think I'm not sure if I've talked about that in the past, but I think it's. I hope it's okay to talk about it now. And you guys, I'm not going to show you like the battles, but you know how FiGPiN. I'm just going to see if my screen will show here. We'll get her out here. So you know how like FiGPiNs have the story score and then the factory score and then the story score, and so all these facets, the 3 factory cards and then the 2 to, it's really unlimited number of story cards because we're going to keep adding. Those are the things that define your serial number. They define what your specific pin is about, like what experience it's been through. In battles, those are going to be the thing that define how the battle happens. So, as you know, in the app, you take the factory score and you multiply it by the story score, and you get the FiGPiN power. So that multiplication concept is how battles is going to work. So I'll get paired with Trevor, for example. So he has his FiGPiN and I have my FiGPiN, and his has a set of factory scores and a set of story scores, and I have a set of factory scores and story scores. So the way the rounds are going to work is he selects a factory score and multiplies it with one of his story scores, and that's his like roll. And then I have to respond with my factory score against something from my story score and roll against that. And it's actually like a really fun, like light game to play because you see, like I can see Trevor's stats right there. Like I know what all the possible rolls are. I just don't know which ones he's going to roll.
Sure.
It's a best of 3. And then he could see my rolls and he doesn't know which one I'm going to roll. So I think it's going to be like really fast and fun. And then we're going to add 2 extra layers in there to make it more fun. One of them is we're going to take your serial number and use that as a wild card in the rolling, because you know how your serial numbers, like every serial number we've ever done has at least 1 number in it, right? Some have 2 numbers, some have 3 numbers. So that's a completely randomly seeded kind of aspect of your serial numbers, and so that's going to be used as a wild card in a roll. So you'll have the option to roll wild card in that, so you won't know what's going to come out. And then the other one, and this one's probably going to be a little like it's probably going to be a little controversial, is you're going to be able to use your boosts, because boosts are this thing that you get. Yeah, you guys know that. So you're going to be able to use your boosts to boost your roll. And when you use those boosts, you consume your boosts. You lose them.
Oh.
Yeah. So it kind of does 2 things. It makes the game more a little more unpredictable. Because even though I could see, going back to the example, I could see Trevor's cards there. I don't know what his wild card is, and I don't know how he'll use his boosts, if he has any. and same for me. So it makes the game more fun, more kind of unpredictable, and it also creates a reason for you to get your pins boosted again, like to go out into the community, because I think people do enjoy that process of trying to figure out how to get boosts.
So at the end, go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, just in the battle itself, can I use my entire FiGPiN collection, or is it like I have to face the same Spider-Man? Both people have to bring the same.
No, you could. Yeah.
So I can have like Spider-Man go against Batman or whatever, right?
Yeah. You could have your one serial number go against another serial number, and the reason I'm saying that is we're I think it's important to remember that the things that are battling each other are really like the stats of these two serial numbers. But yes, to your question, it's absolutely the case. So it's just like when you have licensors, they're very protective of their IP, and so they're we don't want to be in a situation where they're like, hey, you know what those guys are doing over there with, they've got
DC versus Marvel. What's going on?
Yeah, Batman doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so the game is very focused on serial numbers, like it's on FiGPiN numbers and serial numbers and the stats of those serial numbers. It will be Batman because that's what the serial number is. But I don't know if you guys understand what I'm.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
We got you. You're dancing.
It's like the logo
really
pins.
well. I like
it. I guess it is like the logo pins, isn't it?
Not Star Wars, yes, of course.
That's cool though, because then it also creates another layer of for the collectors to search after a certain pin now that does that. I mean, like you're saying, if you're having to lose your boost during these battles, it also it makes it attractive to, I guess, a collector to look for, max boost pins if they're going to be so involved with these battles.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like what are you willing to do to win this battle, right? If you're like, F it, I'm using the whole thing. I'm like turning on the whole boost kind of thing, and I need to win this round. I have to win this round, and I'm going to use this thing. I think that's the point we're trying to get. Yeah, we're trying to get to. Okay. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Another thing. So my question is, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do you win? Like, I want to know what I get for battling somebody and beating them. What's my prize?
So you'll get you'll earn points. You'll earn a new story card that has points. And then I think for things, so there's this whole other thing that we're building right now in the app, which is a mechanism to allow you to get things like logo pins for accomplishing certain tasks in the app, right? So a concept can be like, and don't hold me to this, but a concept can be like, if you win 20 battles, you get like a special battle logo pin.
Okay.
You'll have to pay for shipping and handling on it, because we do give the logo pins away for free, but that's usually like with a purchase. So in this system, you'll have to pay for it to get shipped to you, but you'll get a logo pin that you can't get any other way.
Gotcha.
Other than,
so that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. And the battles, the battles are going to have these like arenas that are based on time and place. So in other words, there'll be like, this is not happening this year, but like there'll be a New York Comic-Con battle arena, and so it's only people who are in that geographical location that can battle one another, for example.
Nice. Or
there's the the FiGPiN kind of like SummerSlam arena where it's just, I can't use that name, can I? Speaking of, so it's about places and it's about certain time frames. So it's not just this thing like this open-ended arena that you go to anytime you want. There's
Right, you
going to
can
be
call it like
beginning,
Bash of the
middles, and
Beach or
ends.
something in the summer, or
Right.
something fun like that, or a
Right.
haunted house battle in October.
Right, and we're even we're even looking to not use the word battle because
Okay.
for those same concerns that I had before, like you know we don't want to be in a place where we end up liking a name so much and then we find out that it's problematic, right? Because
Yeah.
battle
Gotcha.
has a lot of, it's a loaded word, right?
Mhm.
And so we have to figure out maybe another phrase for that.
As I'm sitting here trying to think of a phrase, I need to
I
stop.
think you do like
Yeah.
events or
Synonym search for
Yeah, I'm
battle.
like,
matches. I don't know.
yeah. We have a, let me see if I can figure. We have like a sheet somewhere. See how fast I could find this. Come on, Google.
all the synonyms you've created for battle over the last few months.
The name of the
FiGPiN
document is battles not.
Yes, not.
Yeah, things like clash but these are also very battle-ish, clash, duel,
Yeah.
feud. I like what we came up with for the warehouse event. It was called Go Fig for that game,
Mhm.
Right.
because it's a made-up word, and so we give it whatever meaning we want it to have.
Mhm.
People aren't going to come to it with baggage.
Yeah, like you can almost make it almost like D&D related without getting in trouble with Wizards of the Coast. Like do some kind of like Fig Guild or Fig roll, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you have
Because
any
it is kind of
ideas, send them my way.
Because it does. It sounds a lot like a D&D type of thing, right? Or like any kind of card game.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
you would
kind of
play. We
card
throw down
battle game.
stats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do it like stat related
Oh.
versus a battle. I don't know.
A working one that I like is Face Off,
Okay.
because it's lighter. It's a lighter word, and it kind of it is it is like we could build a story around that and how
Yeah.
Sure.
how you battle one another. So we'll see.
FiGPiN's
It's
face.
it's the least. It's like the easiest task on the list here. Getting
Using the
Okay.
F alliteration though, I think, is a win.
I always like alliterations. Yes.
Yeah.
FiGPiN face off.
Yeah, like Fig you.
Yeah. Exactly.
that was my Discord server for a long time. It was for the FiGPiN Ultra, so it was called the FU server.
Nice.
Oh man. I
What
mean,
server are you in? FU. Oh well.
And then I closed the first one and I opened the second one. It's called FU2.
Yeah, FU too, buddy.
But you brought up Ultra, and I guess it's just me personally asking this. When's the next one coming?
I think.
If you're allowed.
Yeah, no, I am. I think it's like it's before the end of this year for sure. 100%. Guaranteed before the end of the year.
That Darth Vader was it was amazing. I couldn't believe how. I mean, the pins in general are amazing, but the way that y'all structured the box and the way that y'all made an experience of just opening it up and putting it together, it's phenomenal. It earned that name Ultra, and it shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Apple just copied us, right, with their watch.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
No, it's like from the very beginning, and I think we talked about this when we had talked many moons ago.
Yeah.
It was very much us saying, like, how can we make the absolute best experience for a FiGPiN fan?
Mhm.
The Ultra is not. We're not trying to like get people off the street to buy it. They won't even know what it's for. Like, especially when they hear like the price, they're like, "Well, $85 for a pin? Are you crazy?"
Yeah, they're
So the Ultra was very much about taking a FiGPiN fan and saying, how can we take what they love and make something really special, and then taking the fan in the app and saying, how can we just make something that's really like over the top digitally? And I think the Ultra and the Snap and the app has been a huge success for us. And maybe like I haven't asked enough people, but everyone that I've talked to loves the Ultra Snap in the app. It's just it's like a lot of fun to be like to have this power to affect so many other users in the community with just like with
you
Snap.
talked about this last time, the Thanos Snap kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, and so it got deployed, and we had we did the first kind of round with Vader, and it was good. I think people are still doing it now. No, because what happens, everyone like develops strategies, like, and they started like not colluding, but they started like working together to say, hey, we're all going to get our pins in the unlock room at this one moment, and then you'll snap all of us, and then or they'll get like double snaps, and then it's fun. It's like it really brings the community together to try to play this game. And at the end of the day, that was its purpose, is to make something fun for the collectors on the digital side.
Yeah.
So the next Ultra is absolutely coming this year. I think. I think it's supposed to be here. Let me have a look at the calendar.
You're going to show us what it is and everything? That's just great. Awesome.
That's so nice of you.
Exclusive.
Oh, so nice.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's going to be like, end of November, beginning of December. And the hint on U2 on the second Ultra is that we're going back to our roots. And I'll leave it there.
Okay. My collection. Okay.
Back to the roots.
Yeah.
As he takes notes. What could that mean? Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Have you signed any new licenses since the last time we talked to you? You don't have to say who they are if you don't want to, but anything big and exciting that you've been hoping to get that you got?
Well, at the warehouse event, we did have it was called a secret tent. You guys knew the concept of the event. Yeah, where you have to go on that quest.
I mean, I've heard of secret tents, but I don't think this is what this is referring to. But yeah.
Oh man, now I'm afraid to. All right, let me go to Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, great.
Don't Google that.
I mean, I made it up. Who knows? It probably is a thing.
Frog. Yeah.
The one thing I've learned with Urban Dictionary is every word in the English language has a really gross interpretation of it on that site.
Of course.
We had this tent that you walk in and you see like a really fast video loop of stuff that's in development, like future development.
Okay. Like super fast, like you can't like quite pick out things necessarily. Is that like that kind of fast?
It'll stop for a second. So we at that time we showed off like the Sailor Moon stuff and the Attack on Titan stuff and some of the others. But one license that I'm excited about, I know my kids are super excited about, is Minecraft.
That'll be a big one.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun to try to not to try like we're actually sampling them, but it's gonna be fun to show you how we did the characters in FiGPiNs, right? Because Minecraft is very kind of has that like orthogonal kind of view on a lot of the stuff out there.
Yes,
we didn't do that, so it'll be a neat line to release.
Sounds unique.
Other licenses. Yeah, it's hard for me to say because I can't say, but we're adding new licenses.
Good, that's good.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting enough as it is.
Not on the licensing side, but I do want to talk about my favorite release this year, which was the Steamboat Willie FiGPiN, and it was an exclusive to Disney parks. And I just wanted to know how much tougher is that kind of distribution where it was literally for sale on Main Street USA and Disneyland versus Target. You know, that's a different
Yeah.
kind of distribution model.
Yeah. You know what's weird about the Disney park stuff is that we thought like when FiGPiNs would land in Disney parks, because you know we like I haven't actually been to like downtown Disney, or I haven't seen FiGPiNs myself in any of the parks, but I've seen 100 photos, and in a lot of the photos it's just like walls of FiGPiNs, right? Just FiGPiNs everywhere, and that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought when that stuff was going to go into Disney, like FiGPiN was just like everyone was going to be knocking on our door and saying like, "We love you. We want to learn more about it." And you know, people from the world of Disney and Disney pin traders, but it didn't happen. It's like it's a much slower kind of build up to it. Like we're getting a lot of new Disney fans, and I think the problem is, and this is like a really good lesson for us. I think the problem is that people didn't know what they are. Like they knew they were pins. I mean, I think you could tell they're pins. I mean, it says enamel pin on the packaging, but
People
they
don't
have
see,
been.
but yes,
Yes, very true. But I think they have been so used to pins being presented in a certain way. You know, pins on a card hanging there,
especially Disney pins. Yeah,
especially Disney pins. That even though our pins were, and again, I'm not like trying to brag or anything, but I think our pins are much nicer by way of art and detail and quality. Like even though they're nicer, people still didn't know how to process them.
Do you think that for them, then, if it's going to be in Disney parks, you would repackage them in a different way to make them look more like a traditional Disney pin to sell to that market that's already been established? If that makes sense.
But I think it goes back to this question of what is a FiGPiN,
right?
Mm-hmm. You know, if you I don't think I have any pins on cards here, but you know, if you look at a pin on a card, even if you just took a FiGPiN and put it on a card, is that still a FiGPiN, right?
Yeah.
So look, there's this thing that I use with the team. I call it, and again, people make fun of me for this acronym, but I call it LAPD. Maybe you've heard me talk about it before, but like, you know, if you ever want to, it's like you got to find another police department motto. But like if you ever want to like understand like what are the core principles or what are the core pillars of FiGPiN, always think LAPD. And so L is the love of the license, like it's the licenses, it's the characters that you love. A is we take those characters, we render them in an art style that's really unique and different. It's like, you know, it's high quality art. P is the packaging and the presentation, right? We took pins that have been on cards for 20 years and we elevated the way they are presented, the way they're displayed, the way they're packaged. And then D is the digital experience that wraps it all up. So for me, that's the test of whether something is a FiGPiN or not. It's not, does it have pins on the back? Like I think the majority of our customers don't care that there are pins on the back. I think they collect this thing in a box. Yeah. You know, this like piece of art, this piece of hard enamel art in a box with a serial number. Right. And that's okay. Like, and I think that's okay. I don't think people are like, oh, they stand up. You know, the majority of people are collecting or buying collectibles. It's like a little collectible. And so LAPD defines those pillars. And so when we talk about what, you know, how do you solve the Disney parks kind of situation? Do you remove one of those pillars, which is the P, and then is it still a FiGPiN at that point? I mean, this is like an internal debate that we have. It's not. I'm not here saying like this is how it is and how it has to be, but I think to be a successful brand, I think to be a successful collectible, you have to have these positions that you take. You have to say like, this is what we're about. And sometimes you have to say no and not just kind of go and do whatever anyone asks you to do. And everything we're putting in the parks is selling. So, people are buying the product, so it must be doing something. But I think what it's not doing the way that I thought it. It's the way it's. Let me say that. Let me try that again. It's not going the way that I thought it would go, is because people don't know how to collect FiGPiNs. They just bought something that they really like.
Yeah.
Right. And those are very different, like, experience paths. Another great example is like our first Netsugo pin from Demon Slayer. I forget her number. Not that even matters to this conversation, but I just get stuck on these things. Like, I need to know what her number was. It was 379, right? So Netsuko Kamado's number 379. We made like almost 40,000 pieces of her, right?
Okay.
Which is like, because you see it in the app, like that data is there in the app, like all the different runs, and I don't think we have any more of her. Like, it's all been sold. Like, it's and we know for a fact that the FiGPiN community, the FiGPiN collectors, are a tiny fraction of those 40,000. So there's 30-something thousand pieces of her in the hands of people who are like, oh, I like this character. I like this thing. I have no idea what it is.
Right. It was a one-off experience for them, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And
that's fine. And that's a perfectly fine customer experience. Of course, we'd love to get 40,000 new customers, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Right.
They just liked the character and they bought it, and that's the end of the story. And I think that's what we see in Disney parks is it's like, hey, it's Orangebird, or it's like, hey, it's Figment. I love this character. I buy it, and that's the end of it. Probably a lot of those folks take it out of the packaging and say like they throw the box out and put the pin on a cork board, right? But that's okay. Like, we're not, like, we can't control how people behave.
Yeah.
What we can do is keep putting our product out in a way that we think it should be. And the people that go on this journey with us go on it, and the people that don't.
Yeah.
Well said. Very nice. Well, that's exciting, though. You have more stuff coming.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
The Ultra.
Yeah, I mean,
and lots of cons. Yeah. We're back into con season.
Lots of cons, and we're also looking at developing other products in the same space. So I think.
Nice.
For a long time, people were upset about the minis going away and the XLs going away. We always said, or I always said, those things didn't work in that time and how we released them and at the price points. It doesn't mean that we're not going to look at other ways of using our licenses or expressing the concept of LAPD into the marketplace. And again, I really should change that acronym. you guys have any ideas? You have three jobs now: help with the logo pin naming methodology, fix the battle name thing, and then change my acronym.
Just change the acronym around to DAPL. And you just got to change the letters around.
Hey, Dapple in it? Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
But it's such a good one because it's also in the order of importance, right?
Yeah.
It is licensed art, packaging, digital. So we're looking at other product types, and you'll probably you'll probably hear about them in the near future too.
That's exciting. That's kind of now it makes my mind go like, what are we thinking here? What kind of collectible? Okay, nice. Well, it's good to have you back on, Amado. This is fun.
Yeah.
Catch up with you.
And Josh, sorry, Josh, for this. Like, Josh and I have been
Phone
going back
tagging.
and forth for like 4 months, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and we get it. I mean, like you said, you haven't been busy, and like I think I relate to the guys. It's
Yeah,
like,
when's the last time you've been
like we
home?
could probably get them
We
in, but
probably haven't been
we have a
home.
con this weekend, so we'll see what happens. You know,
We have a
but-
con every weekend.
I know.
Yeah. That's gonna be next year. It's gonna I think it's like the whole year except for January.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
hopefully I
this,
get
you know,
to go
after-
to one.
for January.
What is that?
So hopefully I get to go to one. If you come to a Texas one, I could for sure go to that.
There you go.
What's a big one in Texas?
We have Fan
Nothing
Expo
happens in
and
Texas. We don't.
Fusion
Just kidding.
Comic Palooza. I don't know. I don't know what the big ones are this year.
Is it Fan Expo Dallas? Is that it?
Yeah,
Is that a
that's a big one.
it's a big one?
Sure.
I don't know if I could, we have that on our agenda.
Wink,
It's
wink.
just
Okay.
we haven't we haven't signed the papers on that yet. But like I said, the goal is to hit the if you look at the United States, I divide it into a grid of 9, right? And so you have West Coast, you have Southern California,
Mhm.
I guess Northern California, and then the Pacific Northwest kind of. On the East Coast, it's you have New York, somewhere.
That's it, Florida.
Well, I mean, there's a middle ground between New York and Florida.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe there is.
Maybe Atlanta.
Philadelphia.
And then in the Midwest, you have Chicago, somewhere Midwest, and then something in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to draw a radius from each one of these locations and make sure you're getting 1,000-mile kind of circle on each one of them.
But that's cool that you are doing that. I think, like you said, people are kind of gradually kind of getting back out there and doing cons. I know for me, I missed every single con this year, but I look forward to trying it next year. I mean, I'll have a baby, but I mean, I don't know how well that's going to work. Bring it to the
Extra customer.
Extra customer. We'll start him young.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the toys aren't for him
Oh,
or her.
that they are.
Free logo pin if you bring a newborn.
All right, I'll be at the next one. When you're at Comic-Con, I'll be there. No. But I guess New York, real quick. So New York Comic-Con, I mean, I was just thinking about it because I was looking at y'all stuff. Attack on Titan is pretty heavy, I'm assuming, for New York Comic-Con. I mean, I see 4 already on there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that maybe there's going to be a little bit more of a mix of other stuff coming in.
You mean other stuff other than that?
I mean, if not, then I really need to watch Attack on Titan.
That's the only thing we're going to sell in New York is just Attack. No. New York has a really nice lineup. I'm just looking at it here. But the Attack on Titan ones just happened to be announced first. But we have some anime stuff, more anime stuff. Hang on a second. Okay. We have more anime stuff. We have Marvel stuff. We have Disney. We have a license that no one knows about yet. That's going to be announced for New York. So that's cool.
Is it Nintendo Mario?
Nintendo, fantastic. All right.
Did I say Nintendo? I didn't say Nintendo.
I'm trying to catch you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So let me see. 1, 2, 3. We have a big lineup. It might be our biggest lineup. It's as big as SDCC, our lineup from New York. So expect a lot of announcements this week.
Wow.
Plus, there's a lot of exclusives with partners at the show. So I'm working on a little thing to show people where to go throughout the hall to score all the FiGPiNs. And then if you come back to us, you'll get a little surprise.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
FiGPiN scavenger hunt. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out if the Javits, if the convention center will allow us to like float a balloon. I want to make like helium balloons, like just like one, like in what's that movie with the kid that like sees dead people? Oh,
Sixth Sense?
Bruce Willis, Sixth
Yeah.
Sense. Yeah, like
Sixth Sense.
whenever there's like a red balloon, there was
Red balloon, yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I want to float like a balloon with just an F on it, the letter F on it, and that's how you know where the exclusives are.
That's funny. Okay.
That'd be good.
We all float here. Yeah.
And then you find out someone's just walking around with it.
They just took it.
It's like herd of people following.
It's moving. How is that moving?
It's a mobile booth.
Yeah. Well, exciting. It'll be
Yeah,
exciting
so
to see you there. I will not be going there, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. We are going to I think we're going to have two more shows this year after New York that we're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, like,
I'm trying to think what else is
LA's
left this year, but all right.
Well, there's LA Comic Con, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big one that we may or may not go to. And the other one we'll find out. You'll find out when we announce it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So that's the story here.
It was good to check in.
Yeah, it was fun.
For
It
sure.
was fun, and hopefully we could do it again. Not in like 3 years.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
This is
Josh.
Whenever we're always available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an open invite whenever you want to come on.
Okay. No, like I said,
Yeah.
it was absolutely my fault. I just Josh has been very
Oh, we
patient,
know.
very polite
We
with me.
know.
No, we appreciate y'all. I mean, like I said,
Yeah, it's good to see you back at cons too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
And Prague,
right.
I gotta say, the different mic setup totally worked.
Yeah.
Nice.
You survived.
Sorry, those at home that are probably used to me using a different mic. I do sound
Yeah.
different, but I was having technical difficulties before we started.
You're gonna see your view rates are like gonna
They're
go
like,
like
oh,
this.
screw it.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that audio quality.
Uh-huh.
That Prague. This guy. Next
You
week,
get
I'll have it back to normal.
demonetized.
Yes.
Is that what they call it on YouTube?
I think so. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah,
We
it
don't
seems
see
to
much.
be like the equivalent of the ban hammer for content creators.
Yeah, we're not monetized, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
Probably
You can't
made
be demonetized if you're not monetized in the first place.
probably made like 50
Strategy.
cents.
Exactly.
Who decides that? It's just like a switch somewhere, or you have to like give them banking information, or
I think you just decide. I don't know how that works, honestly.
yeah.
I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
switch. I think you just go into your settings, like, I'm going to be monetized now. And that's what it is.
But they have to park the money somewhere, like
Yeah.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, just put
Yeah.
it in PayPal.
Somewhere.
PayPal.
Yeah, probably PayPal. That's my guess. Yeah. Well, all right, Trevor.
Yeah, Amado, thanks for joining us. Where can people find all info about FiGPiN so they can see all the NYCC exclusives as they're announced and everything?
The best place is our Instagram, FiGPiN official. That's like Instagram is a great platform because it's very visual. We have these amazing photos of our product. You can also check out our blog on FiGPiN.com, and I think we do post on Facebook and Twitter. There's also on TikTok, there are these really fun videos or TikToks or whatever we're supposed to call them of FiGPiNs. It's a really fun way to see our product. So you could check us out there. I think it's all like across the board. It's FiGPiN official.
Awesome.
So it's
Easy
kind of
enough.
So
whatever platform
everyone,
you want.
be sure to do that, and then you can follow at Secondary Heroes on all those platforms as well. To everyone listening, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
See ya.